Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint some lemons in a bowl. We'll be talking about light and how to capture that in your paintings tonight. And I'll show you step by step how to do this one from start to finish. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's here for our live show, so if you've got questions, you can ask those in chat and we'll try to answer. Let's get started. So I've kind of prepped my canvas a little bit. I've got a 12 by 12. Welcome. Hi. Glad you guys were back. Glad you guys have joined us tonight. And if you're watching the replay, we're glad you're stopping by as well. Yeah, we just got back from a week in Orlando, so a little tired, but we made it.
We had a great time.
We did. It was too much cuteness.
Florida was a good host.
It was, and we had wonderful weather. It was great. It was us and a bunch of other people that had the same idea.
A few tens of thousands.
Yeah. All right. So tonight we're going to be working on a 12 by 12 inch canvas. This photo came from my Aunt Nancy. She took these. These are her lemons from her garden. They're Meyer lemons, so they're a little bit larger and a little bit more orange than normal lemon, quote unquote, normal lemons that you might see in the store. We can get Meyer lemons here sometimes, but not that often. She lives out there in Arizona where it's perfect weather for them. So yeah, we're going to be using a 12 by 12. I have painted the background with a little dab of Quinacridone Magenta, just to give it a little bit of a glow. The color scheme is a little bit neutral for this one, with the white-ish background, so I wanted to kind of punch up that color. This will make our lemons kind of glow, and it'll also go well with the teal in the bowl. Let's go over our colors, speaking of. I've got burnt umber. Let me move my camera over a little bit. There we go. Must have got lumped. Burnt umber, burnt sienna, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow light. I put a pretty good glob of that. India yellow. And then this one is one that wasn't on my normal list, but I went ahead and put it out. It's called Indolone Yellow. It's a newer color from Golden. You can also use Dye Relied Yellow or Cadmium Yellow Deep. That one, or I don't know where my Cadmium Yellow Deep went to. But anyhow, you get the idea. Just a darker yellow shade that'll give us kind of a head start in some of our shadow areas. If you don't have these colors, you can use this next color, which is Pyrrole Orange or Cadmium Red Light. Any of those kind of orangey colors, cadmium orange would work. Just a dark reddish or like a orangey red color. You can add that to your India yellow or your cadmium yellow to make this color right here, the Indolone yellow gold kind of color. So if you don't have it, don't panic. You can still do this painting. This one is a Quinacridone Magenta, Ultramarine Blue, Cobalt Teal, and Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Unbleached Titanium, and Titanium White. And this one is Satin Glazing Liquid. Just glazing or matte medium would work too. Just kind of a medium in case we need to glaze or thin down our paints at all. I'm using heavy body acrylics for this. All but this one is a Liquitex. The rest of them are golden paint colors. I get that question a lot. I'm not going to pre-mix this gold color, so just know kind of ahead of time if you want to, if you don't have a dark yellow, go ahead and pre-mix a little bit of your India yellow or a cadmium yellow with a little bit of orange just to have this, because I'll be dipping into that. So just have a color to substitute for that as we work. All right, I've sketched on here with just some regular school chalk to try to kind of get my composition. I'm going to kind of move around these top two because I think I've made them a little bit big. The main thing is to kind of trying to figure out sort of your scale, how far you want, your margins to be, where you want your bowl to sit. If you want more of this foreground showing, you can move it up or down if you want more, to do something interesting in the background. So, you can adjust this however you want. She sent me several photos. My aunt sent me several photos of these in different configuration, different kinds of bowls and things. This one was my favorite with this Pyrex. This was, oh shoot, she told me whose bowl this was. I can't remember. It was one of my great aunts, I think, or maybe my great grandmother. I can't remember. I wish might have been my Aunt Marie, I think, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up after the show. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. It's a really beautiful vintage Pyrex bowl. So really love the color of these. All right, so there we go. I made it a little bit smaller, and then we'll put this one kind of in here on top, sort of meeting up with this one. And the bowl is pretty straightforward. The paddles or the handles here are just slightly angled, so just kind of keep an eye on this. If you're drawing it yourself, you know, just make sure that if you drew a straight line from the, you know, from the top of that handle, that you're getting the top of this handle also in there. So I might move that one down just a little bit because I think I missed it just slightly. So, and then, you know, do your little swoop for your bowl there. And then there was some interesting patterns on the table. We will get those in if we have time. I'm going to focus on the lemons, you know, this being a Tuesday night. Don't have a ton of time, so. But thank you to Aunt Nancy.
Aunt Nancy.
Aunt Nancy for the photo. I loved it. As soon as I saw it, she sent it to me. She sends me photos. I've done several of hers. Some of the cactus ones that I've done, and the landscape, desert landscapes have come from her.
So
I'm going to add I think I might add a leaf right here. Coming off this one, maybe. No, maybe not. I don't know if I like it there, but maybe like one peeking up right back here. We'll see. Just to visually, I'm not sure.
When life gives you lemons, take a picture and post it on social media.
Say what?
That's the new saying. When life gives you lemons, take a picture of them and post it on social media.
Social media. I like it. All right, so I'm going to make a gray. I'm going to use my burnt umber and ultramarine blue for that, because I'm going to want that to mix into my lemons. Kind of doing 50-50. I'm going to put out some more of that blue because I just used up all of it for this. And I'll need it for my bowl later. So, welcome back. I hope you guys had a good week. Last week, we missed you. We finally got our February schedule out. I meant to have it done before we went on vacation. That didn't happen, and I was on vacation, and I thought I would have time, and I literally didn't. We were wheels to the ground the entire time. And when we were back in the hotel, we passed out. So that's pretty much how it went all week. It was great.
Yeah, it was like 22,000 step days.
Yeah.
Through the week.
So it was very fun. We were there with our son and granddaughter and his fiance, and her family, and we had a blast. Noah is 2, and she was adorable. Just as adorable as a 2-year-old can get. And really didn't melt down at all, which was surprising because I was ready for it, but
How was I?
they're pretty good about keeping her on a good schedule nap time, so she never really, here's my little kitten from Epcot I got in the Japan store. So it's really for chopsticks, but and I got another one here that's also for chopsticks. So you'll be seeing those. Super cute. Kitty's holding my I can't stand it. So cute. All right. Let's see. What do I want? So I think I want to kind of pre-mix some yellows to use in my lemons, and that way I can kind of work pretty fast. So I'm going to pre-mix some burnt sienna with some yellow, cadmium yellow light here, kind of 50-50-ish, and this will be kind of a dark shadow color. but a brighter version. I might even do a little bit more of the burnt sienna here. Okay. I'm hoping that that pink will make our lemons kind of glow too. That's the idea. We'll see how it works out. And I may even leave a little bit of it peeking through here and there. I think that we're going to have to go pretty fast once we start, and since it's a Tuesday night, just try to get done what we can get done and call it good. Let me see. So I'm going to need a darker dark, but I think I might just mix into this with maybe some burnt sienna and yellow oxide. We'll see. Just to make a really dark yellow that's kind of neutral for our shadows. And that blue just kind of neutralizes the color a little bit. You could just do those three instead of adding the blue, but I think it works. It's nice buttery brown. Kind of equal parts of all three of those for this color. This mixture of the ultramarine blue and burnt umber, and then burnt sienna and yellow oxide. Yellow ochre would also work. Okay, so I think that'll be good. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of orange to that because I feel like it's a little bit desaturated, or a little bit too, yeah, that's good. A little bit too gray. Yeah, that's nice. Okay. Be a good color. I could also use purple as a mixture color for my yellow if I wanted to. Purple's being opposite on the color wheel would work as a shadow color for our yellow. I don't have a purple, but I could mix one with my magenta and my burnt umber. So what I can do is use some of this that already has that blue in it and add the magenta to it, which will make it a purple mixed with brown. And then add a yellow to it. So let's add the neutral yellow oxide. Let's see what we get here. So this would be like if we had a quinacridone or a dioxazine purple or something like that, and added it to a yellow, and you see we get a color that's fairly similar to that one that we just mixed. So if I want to bump it up in saturation, I can add a little bit more of the magenta to it, just to make it a little bit more reddish, because there are some really nice red highlights in there, or I should say shadows that are kind of glowing. And I'm going to use the magenta and the cadmium red, or the Pyrrole orange, I'm sorry. I don't have the cadmium red light. This is Pyrrole orange and magenta. Make a bright red. And then let's add a little bit of that yellow oxide to it too. Just tone it down a little bit. Okay. Now we've got a few. These are just all kind of shadow colors. I still had some of that purpley color in my palette knife too that tinted it. Okay. Scrape that off. I always want to make the smallest little pile as you can. All right, let's go ahead and start painting our lemons. How's everybody doing? Oops, I need to use my kitty.
We're doing good. Somebody's commented that they like your henna
Oh yeah, it's almost worn off. I got that on the first day of Epcot, which was Tuesday last week, so it's been a full week. It's lasted a long time. Really, really pretty. Love it. Got that last year too. I think I might have gotten the same exact design last year. It's so funny. She's got all these designs, and I think I picked the same exact one. I don't know. I'll have to look at the videos last year. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to kind of block in some of, I mixed these two together a little bit, just some of our dark shades of our lemon. Down here there's a really dark kind of reddish color. Yeah, I ended up going to Disney 2 years in a row. Not really planning that. I had never been to Disney my entire life, and I end up going twice in 2 years back to back. I say that I've been to Epcot one time about 15 years ago. It just worked out that way. But last year I didn't get to go with Mark. I went with some girls' friends, so it was a lot more fun with Marky. Yes. No.
Of course it was.
No shade on my friends. It was fun with them too, but different. You got your honey with you. All right. So just blocking in. I'm leaving kind of the brightest parts. Don't want to darken those up too much. And I'm using the 3/8 inch blender here. I'm going to go really dark down in here. Actually, it's not that dark right there. Let me get some yellow. It's actually pretty. The light's hitting on this side. So our light's hitting on this side, and it's filtered light, so it's got these, it's through slats. So the light is hitting the lemons sporadically. They're not, you know, full color. So that'll affect, you know, the way that it looks. I'm getting some of my brighter yellow now and just kind of trying to block that in. While those colors are wet, I can kind of get that sort of
Didn't look like it was the same. Well,
sort of
maybe it was.
what are you talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty close.
it's pretty close. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, she did change this was Mickey. Yeah, the finger, this finger was different. There's a little Mickey Mouse on my finger right here. Do I?
Yeah.
Does it have the diamond on the finger?
No, but you can see it on your.
Oh, there is a Mickey Mouse. Yeah, there is a Mickey Mouse on that one too. She didn't have a diamond around it. That's funny.
This is the kind of extra content you don't get anywhere else.
I am I like what I like, I guess. Yeah, it's funny. I thought I'm going to get something different this year. I literally told Mark that I'm going to get something different this year. And then I can't remember what I got, so I ended up getting the same exact thing. That's all right. All right, so I'm kind of trying to get... I think I'm going to do them this way. I think I'm going to kind of keep them a little bit more painterly looking. I like that look, and think it'll lend itself to this subject pretty well. So maybe a little bit less blended in than I normally do. All right, so I'm gonna start with my lighter color on this one. There is a lemon back here in the picture, but I may just move this one over a little bit. Get some of that India yellow, maybe some of that Iso Indolone Oh, that's a pretty color, isn't it? With that orangey tone. Let's get some of that in this one. This one's got a lot of light hitting the top portion of it. And then get some of that reddish, maybe some of this. Kind of make a medium tone. It's pretty, it goes fairly dark back here. And that's one of the things with lemons that I find the most difficult for me is like with yellows. Because they're such a light color, the darks don't go all the way to black. Like you won't find, you know, a shadow in your yellows that are that dark usually. They're going to fall somewhere in here-ish, you know. So we want to get close to that value at least. Because our lemon color starts, you know, in without any highlights on it, it's like in here, right? That yellow is the brightest color, the lightest value color in our toolbox usually. And so we don't have very far to go with it to lighten it. We can only go 1 or 2 shades lighter to give it highlights. So to give it form and, you know, shape, or not the shape is the outline of it, but the form is the three-dimensionality of it, the depth. To give it depth and, you know, shadows and things, we're going to have to darken it up and get into these ranges so that we give it some shape, or some form. Sorry, I keep saying the wrong word there. Some form. So I'm going to get a little bit of yellow right there and put it up there. So these are going to look really dark, but we'll be glad we have them in here because otherwise our lemons would look flat. So don't be afraid of going dark. We can always lighten it up if we need to. This is starting to get sticky in here, like these previous layers, so I'm just going to leave that. It doesn't look blended, that's okay. I might blend up this just a little bit, see if I can get that to blend in. Nope, it doesn't want to. So let's just leave that alone. Clean out my brush. It's getting a little sticky itself. And get some of that brighter yellow. And really that bottom area there is where that light's hitting it. And then there's kind of a line coming across this way. There we go. That's a little bit darker. And then the rest of this goes pretty dark, pretty quick. Okay. See, I might bring that out just a little bit. We'll see. A little bit more of that bright yellow. I'm trying to kind of get these colors in as close to finished as I can in this first layer, just by kind of blending them into one another. This will just save me from having to do it later. Let me get some bright orange here. Use some of the orange in this one. Right, and getting some of this more neutral yellow here for this shadow. There's just a little bit of that light yellow peeking through right in here. And then this highlight makes a really obvious circle on this one, so it's kind of carving out that shape right there. And just slightly pointed. Okay. Getting there. Get a little bit brighter color. Dab that in and just kind of barely kind of dabbing out the edge there. Oops, my phone just unmuted itself. Okay, unmute it again. All right, and then I'm gonna get some of the brighter colors for this last one here. Is not real dark because it's in the light, mostly on her light side. Okay. And then get that light, brighter color and kind of just pull it from here down. And just touch off those edges to sort of softly blend it out a little bit. Okay, we'll let this dry because they're really wet and the layers are fairly thick on there. We don't want to mess with them too much while they're drying. All right, so let me get some of this gray and a little bit of my teal. I'm just going to go inside this bowl right in here. Inside that bowl, and maybe a tiny bit in there. Okay, we'll color correct here in a minute, but or blend it out. So I've got that line there. I'm just gonna kind of take that color and push it up. That yellow is dry, so I'm gonna take some of that green and just push it up into the lemon that's right there. Just blend that in a little bit. Okay.
I didn't know that the lemon tree was evergreen.
Lemon tree's an evergreen?
Yeah.
Mm. We had lemons. We had lemons and grapefruit and oranges, and the ants loved them. And so did I. But I would forget and not wear my shoes out there to go. I was just like, I'm just going to quickly get an orange. And like the ones that fell on the ground, the ants were all over. And so I would inevitably step on them. And those were the big fire ants, like that are about that big, the big red fire ants. Just sting the heck out of my feet every time. And I was only like 7, 8 when we lived at that house, so I wasn't smart enough to stop and say, probably should put some shoes on before I do this. I don't think shoes would have helped either. They would have probably just clogged right up on them. They were defending their stash. All right, I'm going to grab some of that gray that I was just using, and I'm going to add white to it. This is a puddly mess here right now, so I'm probably going to have to do something about that because it's way too wet. But just going to try to start laying in my edge of my bowl. There. This is where that glaze comes in, because if your paint's too wet, it's not going to stick to the canvas. And then let's get some teal. And I'm just going to start with the Cobalt Teal. Kind of just lay that on. Probably do some areas a little bit lighter than others. I've got some of that white still in my brush here that I'll do in this middle part where the light's hitting it or bouncing off of it.
So, what country do you think produces the most lemons?
Ooh. Probably a tropical country.
We'll see.
Mexico.
We'll see if chat gets it.
Mexico's my guess.
Okay.
All right, adding some of that gray to that with a little bit of the ultramarine blue. I'm going to use it on this side.
I think I found my dream job. I want to be a professional vacationer.
Really? Just should we start a channel where we're traveling all over, vlogging about it?
Of course. It would be so interesting.
It would be. It would be fun. I will have to say, after doing it this September, it was work. You know, like it was work too. And we had an editor, so we weren't even having to edit the videos ourselves. But it was work to have to find Wi-Fi that was good enough to upload everything. Like we had a couple of times we had trouble. Some of the places.
That's true.
That would be the first world problem.
Okay, so chat has some guesses. We got lemon vanilla.
What?
Chat has some guesses.
Okay.
Lemon vanilla.
I like it.
That's
I
from
like it.
Jazz. So
Yeah. Like
she's pretty close.
lemon vanilla.
Yeah, we have got Mexico and Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia. Interesting.
Dina says that Yuma grows a lot of lemons.
Yuma? Yeah, yeah. Where I went to college.
Yeah,
Well, you went there too, a little bit.
I did.
1 or 2 classes where you cheated off of me.
What? No, I didn't.
Literature.
No,
Reading.
I was a reader back then.
And it still is.
I'm a
Okay,
regular
so what's the
bookworm.
right?
Okay, so
answer?
you guys aren't even on the correct side of the world.
Really? China? No.
Well, you're closer with China, but China is a pretty
Australia?
large chunk in between China and Australia. I just never realized it. It's where they believe that it originated from.
The Philippines?
Nope. India.
Oh. Well, okay.
What?
Nothing. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
18%.
Wow.
And they believe that the lemon was it's a
Oh,
hybrid.
Too far over.
Yeah. It was made in
In
the
India.
first millennia of BC.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought of India would be a... There you go.
Nice. Thank you, India.
For the yellow hue and for the lemon.
That's right.
So I wonder if that's where that comes from.
What?
The India yellow hue because of
Oh,
lemons.
probably. Yeah. Maybe. Makes sense. Okay, that's a little shadow. I forgot to do my lemon down here, so I'm going to do that real quick before I get too far away from these colors. I'm going to use that bright. I'm changing the composition because I just want one lemon down here, so I'm going to do it Might make it a little bit bigger than that. Let's see. Something like that. Kind of coming towards us. Let me think. I cut off that bowl a little bit right there, but okay, that's good. That's good. I'll just let that set. All right, so I'm going to get some of this yellow here. The yellow, the brightest yellow, cadmium yellow light, and I'm going to try to put a second coat on there. Wipe that off. I've switched to an 8 bright for the bowl. And while you were talking, I was filling in that blue bowl there, but it kind of cuts up there and sort of bends with the shape of the lemon. All right, we'll fix that, but let's go ahead and do another coat on this one too. Right there. And it sort of, again, bends with the shape of the lemon. Here, come it down. All right. And then just blend out those edges a little bit. This brush is kind of big for this, but it's working fine. This isn't our final coat, so I'm just trying to get some brighter yellow on here. It's going to take a couple coats to get it the right saturation of that bright yellow. We could also use white, but just gonna kind of build it up like this so that each time I do it, I'm getting like a little bit farther away from the edge, so these previous layers will be there, and we'll end up with the brightest color right in the middle there when we finish. Getting some India yellow, maybe doing that on this one. This is not as bright, but it's still brighter than I have it here. And then a little bit at the top. Wipe that out. So I ended up with too much right there. I'm just going to get some of my darker color and blend back over that. There we go. While it's wet, you can, I could wipe it off with a paper towel if I wanted to, but then I might wipe off some of the part that I want to keep. So just kind of getting some of that color. That's the nice thing about having some of these colors pre-mixed like this. I can go in and pretty easily pick up a little bit of that color, and I don't have to remix any of these colors over and over again. I'm going to go in here and do a darker color right along that back end, and I've kind of just put the color mostly on this one corner here so I can kind of just draw it in just on that one side. All right, that's better. Okay, so let's do a little bit on that one. Let me get some of this India yellow and the Indolone. Is the Indolone? Why do they make those colors so long? Quinacridone is Indolone. At least Phthalo is phthalocyanine, but they've shortened it to Phthalo, so I'm waiting for when they could shorten quinacridone to Quin. I call it Quin when I'm making notes and stuff. Just because who has time to write that out every time?
I just call it QBO.
QBO, quinacridone burnt orange.
Because I'm lazy and I'm an engineer. That's what we do.
But
We do TLAs.
it's been discontinued, so I know. Now but the replacement color is not any better because it's benzimidazolone. So it's like they just keep coming up with these names, chemical names. I feel like that lemon shape is not quite right, but I'm not sure what's wrong with it, so I'm gonna leave it for now. Get a little bit of that brighter yellow and just put it on its little rump there. All right. So anytime you've got two colors that you're meeting, you know, that need to blend in, you put them down kind of where you mostly want them, and then that transition area you just blend usually the lighter color up over that darker color, and then kind of mix the two together. And if they don't blend well enough the first time, or if there's too much of the lighter color over the top of the darker, you add a little bit of darker back over, or you mix the two together and you would use that third color, that transition color, in and blend over that line. So this is a great one for blending because there's a lot of blending in kind of a small area here. I do have just a single lemon that I did last year that was probably good practice for this if you want to try that one first. All right, so let's do the background and the foreground here, and then we'll come back to our lemons. I really like this pink color, so I might leave a little bit of it showing in my background. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that gray and my white. And in the picture, it's got kind of a door, but I think I'm just going to leave it fairly neutral and maybe go with a kind of a mid-tone gray. I want it a little bit darker than the handle of the bowl, so I'm kind of cutting and shaping out that handle there with this. There we go. And if I do it right, I can kind of leave just a little bit of that pink showing here and there, so you can see it like right there. It's peeking out around my lemons a little bit. It's peeking out in between my lemons here and there. So I'm gonna try to leave some of this color. I don't want it to be misshapen, so I am gonna, make sure I get a good round shape on my lemon, but I think it'll look good. A little bit more painterly, and that's a nice gray. You can see that pink showing through in places, so I'm gonna keep doing it like that. Do my edges while I'm at it. Right, getting some of that lighter color, and gray. And I'm kind of doing it at a slight angle here too, just like the bowl is. That picture was that way too. Just our gray that we made at the very beginning with the Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber and white. If you want to pick a gray that you have, or you can use any color really. If you like this pink, you can leave it in the background. It's up to you. This is your, your painting. I think it would be interesting to do kind of a pattern back there, like a wallpaper or something, like if you wanted to get really fancy with it. You could see something in here where you did some dots or did some sort of pattern on your tablecloth or something like that. So I think there's a lot of different ways that you can make this a little bit fancier. I'm going fairly simple with it today. I like the simplicity of this. There's a lot of complexity in the composition already with the lemons stacked and that kind of thing, so I didn't want to add any more difficulty to it. But if I was going to take it one step further, I might do that. I might add some sort of pattern back here, maybe. That'd be pretty. Or on the tablecloth. I'm going a little bit lighter around the lemons up here. This brush is pretty textured too, so it's leaving, a little bit of textured marks and things.
So there'll probably be no splatters tonight?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not.
So no splatters and no flowers.
I know. I have flowers in a couple weeks. They're doing a teacup with flowers. Okay. Yeah. I know, I thought about it.
Somebody wants to know, would it not be easier to do the background first? And then
It would, it would probably be just as easy, but then I would lose all of the pink in my lemons, and I didn't want to do that, so that's why I'm doing it this way.
Yeah, if you watch Angela's videos with the flowers and things like that, she stresses people out by painting the background around the foreground.
Well, and also it leaves an opportunity to do interesting edges, like the little bits of that pink that you're seeing around those edges. I just really like that look. I don't do it often, but whenever I do this style of painting where I'm doing a little bit looser, I like to do it because I just really like that look, and I think it lends itself well to this style, is to have like a little bit of that background peeking through here and there. Okay, so I need to go a little bit darker because that handle is right there. So I just want to go slightly darker than the handle color. And that is cut up like that. Okay, and then that blue is cut back. It also makes it so that I don't have to have my drawing perfect when I first start. I can do this and kind of edit things a little bit. I'm going to have to bring that handle back out because I think I cut off too much of it. I just didn't bring my white out enough. Okay. So I need to bring some white across right there. I'm just going to make a gray that's a little bit lighter than what I already had and do across like that. Okay, and then I'm going to get some more white and do another layer of the white on this. Kind of brighten up right in there where the light's hitting it, and then there's a little bit brightness right back here. And a little bit on the lip of that. Okay, looks good. I'm going to use a little bit of that and some glaze. This is the white with glaze. I'm just going to wipe most of it out and just have it and add some kind of phantom highlights on my bowl there where the stripes are kind of coming across it. I'm going to soften that edge off. And there's a pretty bright highlight right there. Pushing around and coming down there. I'm just going to get some of that brighter blue. Add a little bit of white to it. That's a Cobalt Teal. Go from here down. I'm watching the edge shape. So I want this to follow this line here as it comes across here. That's the way to keep it looking, you know, rounded. I'm going to add a little bit of this color just on the edge of that white highlight right there. A little bit up here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. There's a couple of white highlights over here that are kind of just random little reflections. And I want to make sure that this blends into the color that's already there. So if it hasn't, then you we'll want to get some of that darker color and just make sure that it blends in.
So according to our chat, the bowl is a Pyrex
Yes, it is.
with the pattern called Amish Cinderella.
Amish Cinderella. Well, that's appropriate. Right after our Disney trip. That's awesome. I think we saw Cinderella, right? Did we see her?
In the parade.
Yeah, that's right. That's where we saw her.
Yes. You can buy a set for $245 on Etsy.
Nice, nice. It's okay.
No? Okay.
I'm all right. I'm waiting for my Iris's bowls from the 80s to, hit it big. And cash in. The ones we got when we were married. First married. We have some Pyrex. Pyrex is hot right now. It's very trending in the, vintage resale world.
Especially when it comes out of the oven.
I'm going to go darker right here, right around our lemon. Shadow that. Okay, I like it. I'm gonna add some highlights to this side, but I'm gonna let that dry a little bit first. Let's go ahead and do our tablescape, and then we'll continue on with our lemons. How are we doing on time? Okay, we've got an hour to fiddle with them. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making good time.
We are doing great.
Good.
I am holding it together over here.
I'm going to use some of the warmer tones here in my white on this tablecloth just to give it a little bit different color. Let's go ahead and kind of hit our highlight areas, and then it's like a waffle blanket. I don't know that I'm going to give it the waffle texture, but I do want to kind of mimic that. I don't know. That's not the right angle. I think it's like this. And then the next one is in here. Whoops, I went over my bowl a little bit. I don't have as much of the foreground showing as in the picture, so okay, get a little bit of this gray, and I think I might add a little bit of the brown to it just to make it a little bit more of that warmer tone, and then some of that unbleached titanium. Let's see, kind of not sure this is the right way to do this. I might do it all gray and then add my white to it on top. Because I think it's just going to look like a striped blanket if I do it that way. So let me rethink this. in some of that lighter color and just maybe suggesting the highlight, maybe make it a little bit more subtle so it's not so in your face, because I don't want to draw attention away from the bowl and stuff. I feel like if we have too much. Okay, that looks good. I want these spaces to be pretty equal too between the sections here, so keep an eye on that. Okay, better. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Get some of that blue and just do a little penumbra for the shadow right here between those, that shadow and the blanket. It's just kind of like a little transition between those two, like a little blurred area. Okay, getting more of that gray. And I'm going to go ahead and just use that back in here. That darkish gray. There's a little bit of white popping through, but mostly a little bit darker back here. The shadow of the light hitting the bowl, you know, the bowl shadow on the table here. Need like a little cushion. Put this underneath so I don't hear that. Better. Right, and then there's some light coming across back there. Couple of places. Peeking in. Okay, I thought I got rid of you. Let's try this. There we go.
You got it.
I got it now. Okay, so you can see it's, you know, fairly messy. And that's kind of what I want. I did not do all of my sides, I don't think. No, I didn't do this upper side. Let's go ahead and do that while I'm thinking about it. I usually paint my sides like black, but if I happen to remember it, I'll do it in the moment. Right. Yeah, that's nice. See, now you can see that kind of like light pink is still there, but it's not in your face, really obvious. But it's nice.
Gives
Okay,
it
let
kind
me
of a
get
vintagey look.
a little bit of orange. Yeah, just gives it a little bit of a glow. I'm going to use this darker brown as it's going to tint that orange. Is going to tint the white of the blanket. And right here it's making it dark blue. And I'll probably bring some of that blue back there too. Just a little bit of it. So mixing the Ultramarine Blue and the Pyrex color, the Cobalt Teal, and then a little bit of that gray there. And I'm going to put it in the blanket back here, just a little bit. Blend it out. While it's wet. We'll be putting some leaves and things in there too, but that'll give it a good connection to this. It's not as dark back there. Then let me get a little bit more of my highlight Unbleached Titanium and do my white. Something like that. So our light's hitting this way, it's hitting the edge of that, bowl there. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit darker underneath here, just right up next to it. Give it a nice dark base there. Okay, so we got a pretty good start. We'll come back in and maybe add some more texture to our blanket and pop up that contrast a little bit here and there, because there's not a lot of separation, but in our reference photo there isn't either, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think what I'm going to do is put in some of our detail in our bowl. So I'm going to get my white and a little bit of the gray. I don't want it stark white on there because it'll really show up kind of in your face. I might even get a little bit of that unbleached titanium to give it a little bit of softer, more mellow look. And I want to make sure that my bowl is where I want it to be as far as like shape and color, all of that. I'm going to get a little bit of that brighter turquoisey color and add it right at the bottom here. And kind of in the middle. I'm using the the blender. Goodness.
The
Not
unbleached burnt
anything.
blender.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, there. Popped up that intensity of the color a little bit. Probably could go a little bit lighter on that portion there, and there's some highlights on the rim over here that I haven't captured yet, but I'm going to use this liner. This is a 4 round, and I'm going to go very loose with this. I'm not going to try to capture it, you know, faithfully all the way. Just try to get kind of there's the arm of the farmer, Amish guy, sorry. There's some sort of looks like a pineapple, maybe.
Amish pineapple?
I don't know, it looks like a pineapple to me.
It's probably a thing of, it's a basket. Here you go. It's a basket full of stuff.
It still looks like a pineapple. Right?
An Amish pineapple farmer.
That's what I'm going with.
Did you see any of them while you visited Pennsylvania a few years back?
No, I didn't. That doesn't mean that there weren't any, though.
Maybe they're in Hawaii.
I just remember being shocked that they but they were using pins on their clothes to close up their clothes. I was like, that would not work for me because I am too clumsy. I would be poking myself all the time.
Your favorite is on.
Noah, I saw you doing somersaults today in your video. That was so cute. My grandbaby. Sorry, gotta do some Gigi talk for a second here.
She told her mom this morning that she didn't want to go to school. She wanted to go to Disney.
Yes, she wants to go back to Disney. I'm with her.
Yep. We could do that.
She wanted to do. She knew it. Somehow she knew that Gigi was not going to be about the teacups, because she was like, Peepaw. She wanted to do the teacups with Peepaw.
Mm-hmm.
So Peepaw got to ride teacups with her. It's so cute.
Yeah.
We did fireworks.
We did a lot of this stuff.
We did all this stuff. It was great. She got to meet Moana, which was the most adorable thing ever. She's a big Moana fan. All right. I said I'm not going to do all the details, and I'm doing all the details here, but...
Well, on that front
can't help
part
myself.
in the center, I think.
Yeah, this is kind of the focal
and then
point.
We can drift off.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's stylized, so, it's very loose interpretation here. Cute.
Really, Noah's loving the show.
Is she? She likes lemons.
I think she likes Gigi.
She likes Gigi. Yeah. She's pretty much my favorite too. She's a cutie.
Don't tell that to the other grandkids.
I'm not saying she's my favorite what. I'm just saying she's
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good recovery.
She's my favorite grandchild watching my show tonight. How's that?
And so are you, Liam and Amelia, just in case you're watching.
Exactly.
So I think
it's fun.
I think we need to ask Michael if they've got Amish pineapple farmers there in Hawaii.
It's my story. I'm sticking to it. Looks like it to me. Okay. Oh, kind of keeping an eye on the, feet situation and trying to get them of a level. Okay. All right, so that looks pretty good. Zoom out here. And then up here, it's actually almost in the same spot, which is nice. So sort of just above their heads, kind of curving upward. We're going to have the two hot air balloons. Right? Isn't that what they look like? So, hot air balloons, check.
Yeah, the Amish are known for their hot air balloons.
Right.
The Swedish fish I had for dinner is wearing off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might need something more substantial.
Did you eat one of your cookies? You still have a little bit of cookie left.
I ate it when we got home from lunch.
So they're all gone?
Oh, mine are.
What do I have some left?
There's some cookies, parts of cookies left in there.
We waited in line 1 hour for cookies. A place called Gideon's. And I have to say, I was skeptical, but I'm kind of a believer now because we inhaled them and they were delicious. So, that's at Disney Springs. And had some very nice people in line. Told us which kinds were their favorites. They were locals and they came once a month. And I was like, really? You do this once a month? But I get it. They were really good. They were yummy. I don't know if I would do it once a month, but I don't know, might.
Yeah.
I mean, they were enormous. Not that they need any shout outs from us, but
Well, like I said in my post about it,
you posted about it?
Yeah,
Didn't see
and
that.
said that, we're the adult Disney waiting in line for an hour for cookies.
Oh yeah.
But, they are good.
Mm-hmm.
But I did wait longer in line to ride the Tron ride
Exactly.
at Magic Kingdom.
And you didn't have a yummy cookie at the end of it, so
Right, and that was
Yeah.
over in less than a minute or two.
Right.
The cookie lasted much longer, so
Right.
the cookie wins.
Cookie wins. Nice. I like it. I like your reasoning there.
See? Logic.
Okay. All right, so yeah, nice. And there's some things going off into the sunset over here. I don't know what, can't really tell. But thank you, hon. That helped a lot. I kind of probably put that down a little bit low, but that's all right.
Chickens or something.
What? Is there chickens?
They look like maybe roosters or
Where?
the ones that are going off in the sunset next
Oh.
to the hot air balloons.
I see.
Or peacocks or something.
Yeah, I see something round over here. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, it's that there.
I can't see.
And then it went out. It's looks like a peacock.
Interesting.
Thing, but
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay. So I'm going to just use this color and do some of the swoopy lines in my...
It's a rooster. A crowing rooster.
Okay. Nice. All right. I think that's good. I'm going to use this to do a little bit more because I need it a little bit bigger. Just do a little bit of glaze. Let me blot that edges a little bit. There we go. Okay, I like it. So let's...
Somebody wanted to know, were you using a brush or a pen for the details on the bowl?
I was using this number 4 round brush, but you could use a pen. Yeah, pen would work. I'll have the traceable for this, so what I'll do is I'll take the reference photo, and I think my bowl is a little bit wide here, so the reference photo will be from the actual image. I'll trace that in this case, since it's usually when it's something where I might have been off just slightly in the proportions, I'll use the actual reference photo instead of my painting most of the time. If I'm changing a lot, I'll use the painting to do the traceable, but in this case I'm going to probably use the actual reference photo just to make sure that we get it right for you. So you'll have a traceable of this, and you can use it to, you know, put on your design and all that. You get a little bit of blue. There's just some little bit of blue going down on the tablecloth here. Just yeah, and then let's use a little bit of that white and unbleached titanium. And I'm going to just dab and dry brush. Now dry brush is using kind of short choppy brush strokes with minimal paint, letting the brush kind of skim the canvas. So I'm kind of laying the brush almost flat here on the surface and letting these fuzzy textures happen. It'll just be a nice way of kind of creating a soft edge on our blanket here for our highlights. Like that. I need to work on my lemons because I'm going to run out of time and not finish them up. After I do this, I will get to work on my lemons here. So just try to have a little bit of a transition between that dark and the light, and have your lightest part in the middle of this. After we do that kind of scratchy bit, going to come back in and you can add even more light, but have it so that you're leaving that transition between those two colors there. It's nice. I like it. I like the stripes. It kind of brings you, leads the eye in to it. So cutting off those stripes right where those shadows start, and then peeking through back here behind the bowl. There's a couple of little highlights that kind of follow that line there. So kind of in line with this. There's another one back here. You can see where it kind of got stopped by the bowl. Okay, I like that. We'll leave that. I don't think I need to do much further. Your eye's going to fill in the rest. You can get a little bit of that brownish color, maybe a little bit of gray. That's that color here that we used back here, and I'm just going to use some of that gray back here to kind of clean up the edge of that blanket. Across. And we can add it along the edges here if it's a little bit lighter. And just as a transition color. Here we go. Soften off those shadows there. And then we also to have our T-square here, kind of just follow that line so that you know where that comes out on that side. Okay, there we go. And just fill that in. Nice. Okay. Get a little bit of white and just kind of bloop in some white here and there. Looking at my picture to see where the lights hit. Even there's like a little fold coming through here, so if I leave that a little bit dark leading the eye up, it'll kind of help make it look like it's slightly folded right there. Just kind of highlight along this same point in an arc. Kind of creates that shape for us. All right, I like it. Might go a little bit darker back there with my gray. Right along that edge right there. Between that background and the foreground. Okay. Shape that out a little bit.
I will say when you were doing that reddish orange color mixing there at the beginning, I was like, that is not lemon.
This one?
Yeah, that big puddle. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, well, now I see it.
Yeah, now you see it. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing, you know. And that is a thing your eye does adjust to, especially a new painting. When you first sit down, you might not see all these colors. But the longer you sit with it and the more layers you get on here, the better, you know, you'll start to discern the colors. And
so in yours, you went with like a warmer tone. The pictures has, you know, it has the cooler colors
Right.
with the backgrounds and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
like the lemons go very, very well with all the other colors and warmth.
yes, definitely. I wanted the feeling to be warm. So the bowl is very cool. In the background, whites were kind of a creamy color, but I did want to add a little bit more warmth overall, so that having that peachy or that pink background helped just, you know, give it a kickstart and helps to see the colors develop faster. Right, so I'm gonna go trying to see what color I need to do right here. It's kind of a darkish color, but it's sort of reddish right there. Okay, that'll work. It's just our kind of a little bit of I had some of that Pyrrole orange and I added a little bit of this yellow and a little bit of that to get this color here. And then a little bit of that brighter yellow down in there. And there's a little bit of the yellow right in the middle here. And it's okay to have some areas like this that are just dark and not really, you know, formed out fully. I'm going to get a little bit of that gray and add it right there, just darken up both sides of that. Your shadows should kind of merge, so both sides of your items that are touching should have a little bit of that shadow color, so there should be a little bit. You can see how my fingers, when they come together, that they're shadowed on both sides, even though this one's getting more light, maybe. They've got that shadow kind of touching both sides. So like where these two are touching, should have a little bit, just a slight bit, even on the side that is the shadow side. All right, so I'm going to get a smaller blender here. This is a 1/4 inch, so I can get down into these tighter spaces here. And I need to bring this lemon all the way down to that bowl because I've got a gap right there between the lemon and the bowl. So I'm gonna let's see, that might not have worked. Let me see this shape. Okay. All right, that's all right. Let me round that out a little bit more. I just need to make it a little bit wider. There we go.
Somebody would like to know, do you only paint with acrylic?
I have started painting with watercolor some. Watercolor and gouache. I started with gouache last a couple of years ago, just because I didn't even know what it was, and I was studying an artist that I really liked, who was actually a Disney artist. He did the artwork on Sleeping Beauty. His name escapes me right now, but I want to say Earl, or I can't remember. Anyhow, he worked with gouache, and I was like, what's gouache? You know, so I started looking into it, and basically it's opaque watercolor. It's got the same binders as watercolor, so you can kind of use them interchangeably, and they're matte, so they don't leave glare, and so that's what a lot of artists use because they could photograph their work, and even still, a lot of artists use it when they do illustrations because you know, it makes it a lot easier to photograph your artwork. So I did Mark's got it over there. Where's that little hummingbird? You had it up there for a while. Where is it? A little hummingbird painting.
I'm looking for it. I'll find it.
But I did one in acrylics and one in gouache. It's a little hummingbird on a nest. I'll show you what I did. I'm letting that dry right now. I'll show you what I did. There it is. Yeah, so there's two of those. They're identical, and you can't really tell the difference. One's a gouache and one's acrylic. I honestly couldn't tell you which one this is. Looks like maybe, I have no idea. Looks like maybe acrylics just because there's metallics, but I think I added the metallics to both of them. So this is the watercolor journal that I did when we were on our trip to England this summer. England and France, or not this summer, it was actually in September. So I did several watercolors, but then when we were at Orlando, I did this one at Epcot. Just a really simple one. Probably, you know, it's not super finished, but might add some pen or pencil detail to finish it off. But really fun. I just find it very like freeing. Like I probably did that in how many? Maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I can't remember how long that took. I'm talking to you, Mark.
Sorry.
You were there.
Let's see.
But anyhow.
I finished a flight of sake.
That's true. You were drinking sake the whole time. He finished off all of the plum sake before I could get to it. And he was like, this one's amazing. And he finished it. And I was like,
good.
What? You didn't leave me any?
No. But time-wise, we probably sat there
maybe a half hour total.
No longer than that. I would
Yeah.
say 45 minutes to an hour, but you weren't painting the whole time. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
about a half hour.
Yeah. But yeah, really fun. I like how the colors just wash back into each other, you know, drop in and like blend, just kind of do their own thing. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about the watercolors, working with them. It's kind of the unpredictability. And I'm trying to get better at predicting what they're going to do and knowing when to stop and when to layer and that kind of thing. So it's kind of fun. So that's the Epcot, Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. So fun stuff.
But you failed to tell everybody that we went back to Epcot a second time and
Yes, we did.
got another flight
Yes, we did.
of sake because it was good.
Right.
And you
And we
got to
bought-
have,
Yes, I did. And we bought some to take home.
yes.
This is my little watercolor thing here from Artist Toolkit. That's the one I brought. So I was able to pop that into my purse and just had a little water brush in here. So,
So the answer is mostly.
oh, and I didn't even take my water out. I didn't notice that on the plane. I had water in both of those. Didn't
Interest you.
global entry for the win. We got our global entry.
TSA
Things.
pre-check.
Yeah, TSA rejects. So anyhow, that and my little travel purse, you know, adds very little weight and makes it, you know, able to do art on the go. It's really fun.
So
I
circle
enjoy it.
back for YouTube. You do pretty much just acrylics.
Just acrylics, yeah. And I'm starting to. There's a couple of watercolors that I've got on YouTube, but
Yeah.
not very many. Yeah. I'm probably in the coming years as I get more comfortable with it and stuff. I'd like to do more watercolors, but for now it's just acrylics. Acrylics is what I know. Like I've painted with acrylics for over 30 years now, so I know what they do. I can predict them. I feel like, you know, I've done literally thousands of paintings in acrylics, and watercolors not so much. I feel very new. I'm very much a beginner with watercolors, which is very interesting, you know, point to be at if, you know, if you're an artist that has been painting for as long as I have.
But
All right,
we've
so I've
talked
got
about
white here with my yellow, and I'm just adding that now. What?
Well, we've talked about that because I think that it's helped you become even a better teacher
I think so.
for acrylics because
We'll just
you,
realize how scary it is. you
right,
know?
because you're remembering that
Right.
that uncomfortable feeling. You're like,
Yes.
oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. This feels weird. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, if you watch the video before our trip to England when I was figuring out what to pack and stuff, that was a fun video because I was literally terrified because I'd never done anything like that before, you know, so just trying to figure out what to pack and what I was going to need and not really knowing, you know, what to expect. And it worked out pretty good. Turned out I did not need my bigger kit at all. That one that I showed you there that I took to Orlando was pretty much the one I used the most because it was easy to pack. You know, I didn't need my big, you know, huge one. Just found that I didn't pull that out very often. I did use it when we were in the car, but if we were on location somewhere, I just brought my little one and it worked out great. Don't need a lot. All right, so I'm just going through here with that brightest white yellow, and then I'm going to come back in with the cadmium yellow medium or cadmium yellow light, and so the brightest yellow is the cadmium yellow light and white, and then now I'm coming in with India yellow on the next layer over and just kind of blending that in a little bit, but again kind of leaving it pretty painterly. Dabbling it to kind of get those dimples. This one in particular has a lot of dimples kind of showing. Just dabbing it on there to get that dimply look. My aunt said she tried to get pictures of these last year, and someone helpfully juiced all of them for her before she was able to take any pictures. So, quote unquote, helpfully. So.
Way to go, Chuck. Making men proud everywhere.
Yeah.
So, where did you get your little watercolor sets?
They're actually my Daniel Smith colors, and then the little tins come from Artist Toolkit. Yeah, and it's a website. They sell them directly. So I know they had some on Etsy though that I bought. I bought refill tins from Etsy, so Etsy has some artists that make them too. But Artist Toolkit is the original one that I got, and then I got some of the refill tins a little bit cheaper on Etsy. And they did have similar metal boxes too, but they didn't have that tiny one that I have. The tiny one is my favorite because it's the most convenient to have. And the colors that I used are very similar to what I've got on my palette today, actually. It's got cadmium or Hansa Yellow Light, or no, Hansa Yellow Medium is the big yellow, and then
So what are you doing? Sorry, what are you doing here? You're mixing.
I'm getting, okay, yeah, I'll talk about it another time. This is, I'm getting some of that orange color to add to this one to transition, because that transition's not great. So I'm just trying to transition here using all the same colors, just kind of targeting where I'm seeing the need for more transition. Like that little corner back in there, I might get a little bit of this dark color, that red, and just come in there. Right in there. Okay.
So you're just varying the mix of the colors, the same colors.
Yeah,
Right,
just
okay.
going back over these colors and making sure that I've got good coverage, and deepening them up if I need to in different places. Like down in here, I need to have a darker. You can see in that it's almost black right there, so I'm gonna go in with some darker brown. Maybe get a little bit of that. Might even get a little bit of that blue. Oh, I didn't do my leaves. Oh, I still have a lot of time to do. Oh, been talking and
Just enjoying yourself somehow.
I have been.
What the heck?
I need to get.
That's okay.
There we go. Okay, and then a little bit of that darker right in there too. Okay, and let's do a little bit of darker kind of up underneath that one. Let's go ahead and finish this one because I don't even have the highlight part on that at all. And I need to do the centers on all of these too. So I'm doing that highlight color, then getting the cadmium yellow light.
In the Aspen series of paintbrushes, is there a blender?
The blender would be this one here, which is a short oval filbert, but it's not very small. So you could also use your bright number 2 which is about the same size as this, only it's flat. You know, it's not the rounded tip. So,
But that blender there is
but
like
it worked.
nearly indestructible.
Yeah, it is. Just beat the heck out of it. It's great.
I like it too because I don't have to be gentle washing it.
Yeah, I don't, and you don't have to really clean it out fully. I don't worry about this one like my softer bristled brushes that I make sure that I get every little drop of paint out of. This one I don't really have to worry about because it actually kind of only gets better if it starts to get fuzzy. So I'm leaving a little bit of paint in it. Doesn't bother me. Okay, so there we go. That's a little bit better there. I'm going to use that warmer. There's the one in front, and there's like a really warm red on it. I want to use that on that. Maybe get some of that red. Wipe that off. Blend it out. While it's wet, you just put it on kind of fairly thick and then work that edge and wipe out your brush each time. And again, kind of keep an eye on the shape. So I want to pull that shadow in here to kind of help create that rounded effect. Is that that must be the top of it facing out. Or I'm gonna point that. I'm gonna make it pointy and do the top of it over here. So I'm gonna kind of just square that off like that. There we go. Okay. Let's use some of this color on this one. And up here. And let's give it some shadow right here. We're going to have that little nubbin right in there. So let's start to kind of mark out those points. Just kind of scraping around. So just creating a soft transition there. This one's going to have a little bit of a crease right there where the nubbin comes out right there. And then this one is going to be kind of right there. All right, and then this one, I'm going to do one right. Got a picture right, okay, right here. Okay. I'm going to switch back to my round here and get my green and some of the yellow and some white maybe. And just mark some of the stems there. That's going to have to be darker, obviously, but just kind of getting a start on it. Getting that darker green, a little bit of burnt umber. Dabbing that on. then kind of just blending into that lighter color there to help that transition. I'm going to get a little bit of that dark black and mark that at the bottom in the crease of the stem. A little bit on that one. A little bit there and a little bit right where that kind of attaches. This one's not so obvious. And then this one. Okay. Let's do a leaf coming off of here. I'm going to use a little bit of that green from the bowl with my phthalo green, and then add a little bit of burnt sienna to it just to tone it down. Okay, and where's my reference? Okay, there it is. So my reference is coming from like right here. Went up over my bowl.
What brush do you have right now?
This is an angle. This is the angle number 4 from the short-handled Aspen. Thank you.
Somebody asked.
No, yeah. Forgot.
And there's links down below where people can buy brushes.
Yes.
If they need more. Could get a dozen brushes for Valentine's Day. There's. I'm just saying.
It's true. I would have been happy with that.
They'll last longer than the flowers.
True that. Okay, getting some of that bright yellow. And doing that right at the tip of that one. Do a little crease in the stem there. Maybe a little bit of light hitting it. Don't know if I love the leaf placement, but because it kind of loses the edge of that bowl right there. Kind of wish I hadn't overlapped it quite like that. Might make it whiter, so that just so that it is obviously not part of that bowl.
Did you use a brush between the blender and the angle brush?
No. Mm-mm. Oh, this thing in here needs to have a little nubbin. A little bit of white and yellow. Okay. I want to kind of fix that edge of that one a little bit. It's not quite shaped out. So I'm going to get a little bit of that brighter yellow green, or I'm sorry, brighter yellow. Not brighter, the isoindolone, whatever. I think that's what it's called.
So what was a liner brush that you were using?
This was the 4 round.
4 rounds. Okay.
Well, maybe I was using that for the. Yeah, I guess I was using that for the nubbins.
The nubbins.
Yep. There we go. And then under here, just doing a little bit more of a, there's kind of a drop or like a reflected shadow from the bowl edge right here. A little bit of that yellow, lighter yellow right there. Okay. I feel like that shape is still not quite where I want it to be, but I'm not going to fiddle with it too much more tonight. We've got to end it at some point, so. Mark's got Oak Island to catch up with.
It's treasure night,
Missed-
baby. Missed
out
it last week. I know. I would have returned the room sooner if I had remembered.
We were at Epcot. No, we were at Disney. We went back to Magic Kingdom, watched the fireworks again with
That was
Noah.
in at a Rotron after the fireworks.
Oh, that's right. You were at Tron when you should have been at Oak Island.
I was at fireworks when I should have been at Oak Island.
Yep.
Much better.
Not. You were holding your grandbaby, watching fireworks. You were in heaven. It was way better than sitting on the couch. Just kind of using my towel here to create this little notch right there in that one.
Somebody would like to know, what is the white highlight on the left side of the bowl above the
Right here?
leaves?
I don't know.
Kind of the eyes are getting pulled towards that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I could probably soften out the edges because I didn't soften the edges of it, and I need to
It
do
looked like
that.
it started as a reflection.
It is a reflection.
Yeah, light reflection there.
It's a little reflection that is in the picture there, but I think I made it bigger than in the picture. And now I can't get it off. Add a little bit of white. That'll soften up the color around it. We'll just kind of soften the color around it so that it's not standing out so much. There we go. There we go. That's better. Thank you. Those are the kind of things that I would have noticed later, you know, like when you do so many layers, after a while, you kind of forget, you know, that you meant to go back and change something. So that was definitely one of those that I would have noticed later. Thank you, whoever that was. All right, gonna highlight the top of this. Oops. I think I've got a little too much of the turquoise in there. Highlight the top of that lip right there. And there's a little bit of white under there. Try to match up those there. And then this is the inside of the bowl that kind of has some yellow going down. Just going to kind of dab over that with some of this light turquoisey color. Maybe go a little bit more gray. Right at times, so I'm gonna stop here, but I think we did a decent job in 2 hours, not too bad. I think I might add a little bit more of a shadow on this guy here, just where it's coming down into the other one. Just gonna pull back with that color. There. And I think like right there I can probably add some of that whitish cadmium yellow light and white. Right, I like it.
Okay, I've got to say it.
What?
The leaves on that lemon
Uh-huh.
are on the wrong side.
What are you talking about?
The lemon that you're painting right now.
Well, they're not attached to it. They're just sitting there.
Oh, they're on the table. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they're good.
Well, look at the picture. She just had lemon leaves, you know, sitting on the
Okay.
table with them.
I'm with you now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can put them on the other side if you want.
I'm probably not going to paint it
You
myself.
could probably lay one down here, like, just to make it clear that they're sitting on the table, not, you know, attached to anything. But that's why I was thinking about putting one up here too, or something, you know, coming off there. Yeah, I'm not in love with the leaves. I kind of maybe prefer it without, or maybe have one come off the actual lemon here or something like that. Might have been better.
The green does. I like the green.
It needed the green. I just don't like the placement of them.
Okay.
I feel like they're, like you know, like maybe a little distracting. But we're right at 2 hours, so I'm not going to mess with it right now. But again, maybe when you guys do yours, you can be a little creative. I think it could be interesting to have this one have one. I don't know. There's so many different things you could do with it, but it is. Ooh, super chat. What?
Oh, yeah. I got some super chat.
Yay! That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So we have a super chat from Cindy B. She says, "Thanks so much for teaching us. I always learn so much."
Oh, thank you, Cindy.
Some smiling face heart emojis. Yes, thank you very much,
Very
Cindy.
sweet. Thank you, Cindy. Cabzy.
Yeah.
Cabzizi. Cabz. I like it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very sweet. All right. Thank you, guys. Glad to be back. We've got really fun stuff going on. This is a great way to start the month. I really, really love how this turned out. Really fun. Thank you to my Aunt Nancy for sending me this. She always hooks me up with amazing photos. So yay. And yeah, if you have some photos that you want to share with me, I'm always down for that. You can look down the description for ways to get a hold of me, all my contacts and social media, and how to become a patron. If you're interested in getting a traceable for this, we'll have that available. We usually put it up the next day, so it'll be up tomorrow. And I'll make it probably late tonight or tomorrow morning. And yeah. I'm going to probably shadow back here, but I'm not going to do it right now. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.